and welcome back to the England Door Model Railway. In this video we'll be reviewing the Bachmann Edward. This model I purchased over last year from the Tootley Thomas for a price of £100. When I received this model from the mail, I put it on my track to make sure it was running well, and for some time it didn't have much of good performance. While it was running around the track at 50%, it did show a lackage of power going around. But I thought it to continue on and let it run in. And in my opinion, it took a good few months for this model to finally to improve in its performance. It got so bad I even considered custom building rolling stock to make sure that this model ran well with it. But being patient with models is good in the long run, because as at the beginning it was bad, but nowadays it is a good performing model, which will be seeing that performance later on. Now it's time to get this model out of the box, up close and personal, so we can see the details this beautiful model has to show for. There he is, up close and personal, and the accuracy which is well represented in this model is kind of surprising, and it's always an enjoying pleasure seeing this model going around the track. There's one thing I have forgotten to mention when I was reviewing the Bachmann Thomas last time, was that with the Bachmann Thomas and Friends characters, as they go round the track, the eyes move from left to right, making it more realistic to their character, which, in my opinion, what makes the Bachmann Thomas line superior a little bit compared to the Hornby versions. But back down to this model, the things in my opinion that disappoint me with this model is the lackage of cab detail. But apart from that, it's every other bit of detail on the loco is superb. The representation on the livery, such as for the blue and the red lining, and every sort of little detail that on the boiler and the running chassis of the model is well represented, and it's beautifully done. And the tender doesn't miss out on the quality as much, doesn't miss out on the quality like the body as well. It's beautiful. Representation is key for fans of the railway stories, as well as the Thomas the Tank Engine TV show. Would want every detail to be done right. The only thing, as I said, the lackage of cab detail, what lets this model down a lot for me. But because of the fact that it was designed so children can enjoy these models as much as the adult fans of the show and franchise, it's something I could easily put up with. It's going to be an interesting video. Now, it's time to tell the story of Edward. Edward was built in 1896, Furness Railway K2, where before he went off to Sodor, he was in the original Furness Railway red livery, where until the early 1900s, where he was sent over to Sodor to help out building the railway, doing jobs such as hauling freight and express passenger services. Edward did a superb job until the 1920s, where he was superseded by bigger engines such as Gordon. But He didn't let being superseded by the bigger engines get to him. He just simply smiled and carried on as he always did. Being sometimes being made fun of by the other engines for being one of the oldest engines on the island, his experiences and willing and kindness to give advice has always been welcomed by all. Even if a certain red and blue engine, aka James and Gordon, would make fun of him, call him Old Iron, but when they need him the most, he is always happy to help them in the end. He's not much seen much these days, well, considering the fact that he is working very important tasks on his own branch line on the island, and who knows, he may turn up one day. And that would be a very nice thing for us all to see. But at least hopefully he is doing alright for himself. With that said and done, it's time to go to the track and see how Edward performs. There is Edward, ready to show us what he is made of. Accompanying him on this running session are some Hatton's Genesis coaches. These are quite special coaches, and I thought they would suit Edward most splendidly. And joining Edward is James with some LNER teak coaches. I bet that would be very much appreciated by James to enjoy these beautiful LNER coaches. And as for a special one-off request we have from one of our favourite subscribers, Kelly Ashford, we have Thomas the Tank Engine and Annie and Clarabelle. Just bear in mind, this is a one-off request which I'll be happy to do. With that said and done, it's time to get these engines around to show us how really useful they are. Well, that was a truly splendid running session. I would heavily recommend anyone to purchase the Bachmann Edward, as long as you understand the fact that you don't put too much rolling stock with it or heavy coaches or wagons. It would be quite excellent. And for any Thomas fans, it would be an excellent addition to your collection. That concludes our review of the Bachmann Edward. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the Lone Ranger Motoring channel. With that said and done, see you next time.